what we will do today is basically we will talk about the sales in IT industry, starting from the foundations, starting from the approach, channels, choosing the client, understanding the client's needs, problems, strategies, and also in the meantime, when I will be discussing about those information, I will also share my personal experience about the market, about the countries, about the European market, and each country that I am familiar with, what works for each market, what works for the type of the client in those markets, and we'll share some insight from my side that will help you later on approach those markets. So let me start it. The first part, you might feel it's a little bit general and not related to the sales, but I will ask you for a little bit patience because you will see how the product journey, that's what we will discuss now about the project journey, how this is very, very related to the sales itself. So I guess some of you, especially the technical people, especially if we have some project manager, especially if we have somebody who work in the pre-sale, you will understand how we develop the product, yes? The product development is starting from idea. There is some entrepreneur, there is the business person who got the idea, and let's say that this person want to create another social network like Facebook or wherever. So as the first stage, everything is starting from the idea. The next stage, it will move to the POC, it stands for proof of the concept. That means the entrepreneur from here, they will try prove in some easy way or not costly way that the concept, the idea they have, it will work. Then when they have a confirmation, let's say they did some initial customer survey. They discuss with their the ideal client profile. They assume that will be good user of this application, and they got the positive response. So they will create prototype or other called MVP. It's minimal value product, yes? And usually, in many cases, I guess you guys very familiar, very often client coming to you in this phase. Then when you run, when the software development company will create this minimal value product, then they will run pilot with the client. They will test the product they created. They will put it to the test with the limited sample of users. Usually, we don't want to allow the first product to run be open and available for the market, because there might many issues happen on the way. Some bugs, some functionalities might not work, or maybe we need to change some functionalities. And then when we run the pilot, we fix the product, then we will have a commercialization. That's been, we release product to the client, we start charging money, and it's public. The next phase is stabilize. So again, the product is growing. There will be some issue happen. There will be needs for additional fixing things or adding additional functionalities. And then in the next phase, we will enhance, improve. Either we can improve the user experience by changing the design, improving the front end and things like that, or even speed up the application. And then last, it's modernize and create. What's that mean? Basically, we might see that our users, they have additional needs, and we can create for them completely new functionalities. So think about the Facebook. When they start their social platform, it was designed to connect the people. Later on, he brought the ad center, yes, as an additional application for marketing companies. Yeah, so he creates something new, and when we create something new, the whole process will start from the beginning, and this will go back and forward all the time like that if we develop the application. And guys, just 1 minute more, you will understand in the minute why I'm sharing you this. I divide this journey for the two phases. One is development phase, where we focus on creating something new and developing. And the second, it's a maintenance phase, where we're more focusing on the maintaining or working on existing product that already exist. So now let me move on. Now, I would like to introduce you the client types we might meet, we might face. So we can work with the startups, we can work with SMEs, small and medium enterprises. And what is important for you guys to understand, SME in the Europe or US, it means something completely different than SME in Vietnam. In Vietnam, in Europe, SME can be even company with 80 people. My friend company, they doing software development, they have 80 people and they do 60 million revenue. And in Europe, we are more likely measure the company by revenue size, not number of the people size. In Vietnam, I noticed that the number of the people, it's more important for the when we asking the business owners, they usually will say about number of the people. However, in Europe, we will measure it by revenue. Corporate, again, we measure by revenue, and I would say it's 80 million and up. And partners. So here we will have a subtype of the subtype of this client. We will discuss also about needs of this client and then message. So in the subtype of the startup, we have funders with IT. What's that mean? Funders with IT experience, those are the people who are technical guys. And those people have a technical experience, however, they have a least business experience. And for you as a person who approaching the client, let's say you have a cold approach or you got the lead from somewhere, you must understand on the very early stage what type of the client it is, because they have a completely different needs. If you cannot speak to the client by language of their needs or language of the problem and how you can solve those problems, then your chance might be very limited. And it's especially work in a European market and Western market generally. Guys, why I decided to introduce you this presentation today is because I can see very common challenge in Vietnam. The challenge what I see is that many companies, they running cold campaigns and they send 1,000 or 10 of the 1,000 emails or messages to clients, any type of the clients, and those messages sound like, "Hi, I am wherever John, I am Nam from company XYZ. We specialize in doing this and that. We've been doing this for 20 years, and our clients is Panasonic. Our client is this and that big name." And I will be very honest here with you. In the Western countries, people, they don't have a tendency, or they don't like this kind of approach. Why? We feel when somebody sends this kind of message, they first of all, they don't understand us. Second, they kind of show off. It's like when you go to the date, you meet the girl and you sit with her and you say, "Hi, I am so nice. I am so handsome. I am so intelligent." We feel like, as a European, it's kind of show off, yes? So what we want from the client, from the service provider, it's that they understand our problem, understand our needs, and they speak in language of our needs. That's why I have this presentation with you, and that's why I divide this group of the clients for the subtype, and we will discuss about their needs. So first of all, if we're talking about funders with IT, those people, they need additional tech expert. So let's say there is the funder who has a technical experience, but obviously he is Very rarely we have some genius who know all programming languages, who know all frameworks. So they might be very good in the back end, but they will need additional tech expert with the front end that will help them. And this will be one of their needs. They need startup experience. Whenever you talk with clients who come to you and they explain you, oh, we are just new established startup, I just have an idea and I did POC and I am in the MVP stage, you should talk to them that your company has experience working with a startup, and we understand when anyone joining to the startup, they need to be, as we say, jack of all trades. They need to be able to help with this, help with that, and they need they cannot afraid to raise their voice. They should not afraid to share their ideas, because when you are in the early stage of the startup, everything is super messy. If you propose to this type of the client, if you propose the solution that we are big organization, we're working with corporation, this client will find you are not relevant to them. So you need to explain to the client that you have a huge startup experience, and basically how it's supposed to sound like. You just can say to the client, Mr. Client, for last 10 years, we've been focusing purely on supporting startup. What's that mean? Our engineers, they are very open and they do not afraid to share their ideas. Also, our engineers, they are full stack engineers. So they can help you with the front end, they can help you with back end, and they completely understand how it is in the early stage of the startup. So when you send this kind of message to the client, they will find it much more relevant. And that's why it's so important on the very early stage, when you come into the discovery call, that's mean first meeting with your client, you need to understand, first of all, which phase of the product journey they are, because each phase, it will have a completely different needs. Then you need to understand what type of the client it is. And then when you understand what type of the client, then you need to pay attention to their needs or the problem that you can solve. Additional, what those kind of people would love to see, it's if they work, let's say this founder, he established a new company and the product that they developing, it's working in the tourism. If you have engineers that previously work in the startup and they work in the similar project, in similar industry, they will really appreciate that. And you should emphasize the message to them that your engineers, they have a experience in the project in working in the tourism industry. And I give you just example of the needs here, but there could be multiple different needs. But what I want you to do, whenever I consult any of my clients, I always say the same thing. I don't want you learn by heart what are the needs here, but I want you to learn the thinking process. And the thinking process is that if you don't understand the product journey, if you don't understand where is your client in this journey, you don't understand what type of the client what it is and what needs they have, then your chance of winning this deal, it's much smaller. Even chance to approach this client and get the response, it's much lower than if you know about that. And then second type of the subtype of the startup funders, there could be funders without IT. So for instance, this could be business owner who has no idea about the technology, but he has a great idea for some application or for some solution. And then this person, even it's still startup, this person will have a completely different needs than the person funded with IT. So they will need IT expert to join to their team. So they will need a leader. They need somebody who can they rely on. And usually they will look for somebody locally. I see rarely situation that somebody doing offshoring IT leaders. Okay, so this is something you need to keep in the mind. If you talk with the founder who has no idea about IT, and he has not yet get CTO into their organization, so you can assume this is very early stage, and your deal might go through in the further stages. This person will need a full team. They will need business analytic, product owner, product manager, developer, front and back end, because they have no idea about the building the product itself. Yes, and you as a experienced consultant, you need to explain to them, because even sometimes they might not be aware that they need those kind of team members. They will think, okay, I need the IT engineers, but the truth is that they need the other team members as well. And I would like to mention one more thing here about being consultant, because in Europe we really hope, or we really want to talk to the experts. And whenever you're approaching the European client and you can position yourself as an expert, you can consult the client, that's how you build the trust. You know, in Vietnam, it's completely different. In Vietnam, to build the trust, you need to meet many times. Maybe you need to go for the beer together, or you need to, go drink tia, do some tiêm gió. It's completely different. You build the trust based on relationship in Vietnam. But in Europe, you build the trust based on your expertise. And this is really important. And by being consultant during the sales process, this is the way how you can position yourself as an expert. And if you see that your client is not aware that they need product owner, project manager, bring it out to them. Don't be afraid. And in this way, you will show that you don't care the most about sell, you care the most about the client. Next, the client without IT experience, that they will not be able to draft any kind of prototype. They will not even be able to make initial design in Figma. So all of that you need to explain them, and you need to explain them what is the process. They also prefer if the members that join, they have a startup experience and then industry experience. Guys, I will stop here for a second, and I would like to hear if you have any question, if you want to clarify something.
Oh, I have a question, Aidan. Normally, when we approach a startup customer, they is how we can qualify which startup is solid enough to have a budget for software development. Because I think many times we see the startup at a very early stage, like they just have an idea, or their idea is not clear enough, or they have a very limited budget and they expect that we can help them to release something in the market and use that to raise funds. So can you give me like more informations about the categories, how to categorize the startup and see which segment of startup we can dig deep into? Yeah,
great question. Yeah, just let me take notes. Okay, great question. And there are two parts here, what I see, and I would like to get a little bit deeper. First of all, it's always when I consult clients in Vietnam and I work with the sales team, I don't know why, but people are afraid to ask about the budget. And I have no idea why this is the case. So the first thing, feel free to ask about the budget. This is number one. And if you see that the client is like, I don't know, let me think, we are very early, then you can start assuming, okay, this is like really, really early stage, and maybe this startup, I can come back to them in the next 5 months or half a year. So first thing, what I can tell you, it's very simple answer. I know maybe you didn't expect that, but basically ask the client, what is the budget and what is the timeline? And you can justify this question basically to say that if you know this answer to this question, you can choose suitable resources for the client to make sure that you can optimize to their budget. Okay, and this is really makes sense, and this is what we want to do, because there is nothing worse than you guys preparing proposal, investing so much time, and then you coming out with the proposal for 50,000, but it's completely not relevant to the client because they have only 5,000 in their account. Yeah, so you are wasting time, and the client is wasting time. So please do not afraid to ask for the budget and the timeline. This is two extremely important questions. Second thing, I will give you some trick or tip, market insight. In the European Union, we have a European Union is giving money, investment to the European Union countries for the technology project development. And if you research a little bit online, you can find the website from the European Union, which country is getting how much funding for what kind of project. So, for instance, last year, if I remember well, there was the big fund coming from European Union to Denmark for the real estate project development, but for PropTech, property technology. And me and my client, we ran the campaigns to the PropTech startup in the Denmark. And we know exactly how much money they were giving. They were getting $6,000. And we offering them developing MVP, and it was very, very successful campaign. So additionally, what you can do, you can research about European Union funds, where they go in which country, and what type of the technology, and then you can create sales campaign that targeting those type of the startup, and you know exactly how much money they will get from the government. Mr. Vuong, is the similar project happening in Germany?
Hi, Adam. Just call me Tree TI.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one point I think I want to share my experience. And exactly what you said is in Europe, what I experience is we are selling our expertise. It's not so relevant to make the relation to the customer in before. So, but of course, if you can build the relation to the customer, is the best. But it's not so needed like in Vietnam. And exactly. So in Germany, what I have seen is a lot of funds distributed by the European Union, distributed by the federal state, by the state, and if you can find out which company, which technology is not supported, I think it's a very good tip from you that people can reach those companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it costs a little bit effort. We need to dig a little bit deep to get those information, but they are possible to find. As I said, like last year, we did find about the Denmark and the property tech project, and we were quite successful with that campaign.
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah. Duan, any question here?
Hi, Adam.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the tip for finding the fund from the government. And I think it's a very good way to find out the budget of the client. But however, I face like quite a lot of clients. They are quite ambiguous about their funding and the budget. I mean, some clients that very close to us, they don't even know like how much they can spend or how much they should allocate to the project. So when I ask this type of question, actually I understand that it's quite hard for them to answer, right? Sometimes I mean that I know that they don't even know it. So is there any way to like analyze this? and get like a brief idea of the funds they have.
Sure. So in this case, what I would suggest you is put yourself in the role of consultant. Again, European people, they appreciate your expertise. And what you can do, you can draft for them roadmap, the initial roadmap and your initial cost. And you can say, listen, guys, this is from my point of view, this might take that much time and cost that much money. Is this something that you are willing to do? And see the reaction. Maybe they say, okay, oh, we expect this will be much more expensive, and they will be very happy. Or they will say, oh, this is much over my budget. So then you need to figure out how to cut it in half. Yes. So you as a consultant, again, I want each of you as a salesperson and anyone who has a contact with the client became their consultant, became expert, and help them to actually, if they don't know, to give your knowledge and help them to find out.
Right. But in such case that we cannot do it in the first or second meeting, because we have to like analyze all the requirement, come up with a ballpark estimation, right? And it's type like, I mean that, well, we have to spend effort on that. Right.
So yes, I understand your concern. We are afraid to spend effort if we don't know if this is potential. Yes.
Right,
So
exactly.
you need to move back one step in your sales process, because sales process in the IT industry, it's built of multiple stages. And you have a lead generation, then you have a lead qualification, and then you have a discovery call. If you do discovery call good way, then you will know right away if this is potential client for you. Why? Because in discovery call, you have a list of the question you're asking to the client and criteria to qualify the client. If the client not aligned with your criteria, then you're not qualifying it, and this is not potential for you.
Yeah, I got it.
I hope that helped and answer your question.
Yeah, thank you for your answer.
Thank you. Okay, so let me move on to SME. So first subtype of SME, I call it, they have a stable product already existing. What are their needs? So if there is the existing product that already operating, it's commercialized, there is cash flow from this. So the companies will, one of their needs could be they want to reduce the cost. That's very common need, and this is the most popular need that the Vietnamese companies trying to touch when they approaching European or Western market. How Vietnamese companies doing this? They will say, we have a great quality and competitive prices. And this is the most common message I can see in the cold outreach, which I don't recommend. Reduce employee turnover rate. Guys, this is huge issue in the European countries. So I'm not sure, are you familiar, but in Europe, you cannot fire or let go people just like that because you want. Even you are boss and you want to let go somebody from your company, you cannot do it. Basically, the law doesn't allow you. So what is the solution here? Instead of the hiring, let's say, in the country, you can propose to the client from the Europe, from the West, that they can outsource 20% of their resources to offshore to your company. And thanks to this, they can reduce turnover rate. Additionally, accept the issues with legal issues with the employees, right? In the Euro, there is another issue that turnover of employee is very expensive, because onboarding of the new employee, it might take 3 to 6 months. And 3 to 6 months of the IT engineer in the Europe, that's the, I don't know, $25,000 to $30,000. So this is a huge investment from the client in Europe. So you can say to them, by outsourcing 20% of their IT resources to Vietnam, they can reduce turnover rate simply whenever engineer from your organization, from your company leave, you taking the responsibility of onboarding new engineer and train them on your cost. And this is huge value for the European people that you need to keep in the mind. And please, one more thing, that keep in the mind that your clients, they don't know always all of their problems. Even like Tuan mentioned, they even don't know what is the budget. So you need to, as a consultant, you need to be able to put this idea or introduce them problem that this is problem that exists and you can help them to solve it. Western companies, they will really care about stable vendor. As you probably noticed, they will spend a lot of time on verifying companies. The building trust is not so easy. So they don't want to do it all the time, change vendor. They just want to do it once and stay with the one vendor. Maintain operations smoothly. So this is just generally for the business purpose. If somebody leaving company or if I need to change the vendor, this is causing a lot of issues for the business, and nobody wants this. Let me move to SME with new development. So SME with new development, this is the company which has, like this one, have already some product, but they decide to bring something new to the market, and they will start with the new product from the scratch. And very often they want to outsource this whole project, probably in the form of the project base. And then to do so, they will need a full team. They will need fixed budget. And this is extremely important, guys. When you're talking with SME from the Western countries and you can introduce them timeline, how long it will take, how much it will cost, and you provide guarantees that if something happens, then you will bear the cost of extending the timeline or whatever, they will really, really appreciate that. Why? Because thanks to that, they can plan their business and they can operate the business very smoothly. So this is one of elements that many companies, the SMEs, especially not startup, but SMEs, they will care about. Tuan, I see you raise your hand. Do you have a question? Or
Hi, yes, actually I have a small question, not really related to what you are saying, but like you mentioned a lot about European, right? So does this client type and the logic apply to US and Canada, for example, or is only for the European country?
yes and no, if I can say like that. Because first of all, when we talk about Europe, there is so many countries there. And if you look deeply into them, then each country will be a little bit different. But this is minor differences. And you can take this and start with the general overview and applying that. However, if you plan get deeply into very specific market, I would recommend you to get a little bit deeper, because there are minor differences in, let's say, in communication, in expectation, in the risk tolerance. This is really important, how the company is able to tolerate risk from your side. So later, this is as your foundations. You can start with this, but then when you choose your suitable market, get a little bit deeper and understand them more.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for your answer.
No problem. Next thing, what they will really care, shorten onboarding time. But what's that really mean? It means starting development very soon. Imagine if this company need to hire a full team. It will take them months and cost a lot of money. However, if they do it with the IT vendor, they can start very quickly and have a team nearly right away. So this is also really important value for many clients. They need the same stable vendor. And this is the point, for instance, Tuan, for you. Most of the Western countries, they will be like, they rather make collaboration with one vendor who is stable, who they can trust, who they can believe. So the message here that this needs, you can use quite often with any client. So for instance, what you can say that we work with multiple Western companies, and our retention rate is very high. Each client stay with us at least 3 years. So this is showing that you are a stable vendor, for instance.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. It's a very good point.
Yeah. And the roadmap, as I mentioned to you before, the roadmap is also very important for those people. They can plan their business. They can know when the product will get first released. They can plan when the product will be commercialized. So this is also important. And obviously, this company, when they outsource offshore, especially offshore, they will hope that this development of this product will be cheaper than in their country. Yes, so this is something I guess most of the Vietnamese companies they usually using this need for approaching the client. And the last type of SME, what I want to introduce you is SI, software integrator and software companies. And this is the type of the companies that I see a lot of Vietnamese IT vendors, they like collaborate with. So in the Europe, in the Poland, in the Germany, in the UK, you have a software development company similar to you, but because of many different reasons, they want to outsource part of their work to the offshore. And the reasons could be, first of all, they want to reduce the cost. Second, they want quick onboarding. They don't want to recruit. Recruitment costs a lot of money. Onboarding costs a lot of money. And then, because of the law, European law in many countries, you cannot let go these people. So for instance, you cannot hire somebody for 6 months and then let them go if they are permanent employees in your company. If you do the like short-term contracting, it's okay. But if they move to the permanent contract, it's very, very difficult. Is this the same situation in Germany?
Yeah, exactly. This is the same in Germany. So, some some Vietnamese guys ask me, how big is your company? And I say, I'm 5 people here in my company. And they are, oh, okay, it's not so big. But it's because of exactly the labor rules here in Germany. You need people, and if you hire them, then this is not, you have to offer them a permanent contract after latest 2 years. So before that, you can make some 1 year contract or 2 times, but maximum 2 times, and then you have to offer the permanent contract. And if you don't offer a permanent contract, then you cannot compete to the big company, to the corporate. You cannot say, okay, people come to my company. So that is why is so like me, an SME, the onboarding or the labor contract is always a problem.
Yeah, and guys, imagine that you're talking with a client from Germany and you tell them exactly what Chi told you. They will right away perceive you as a person who has a very deep knowledge. If you can talk to your client like, Mr. Client, I understand that in Germany there is the problem with the labor law, and after 2 years you need to have a permanent worker, and if you have permanent worker, it's very difficult to then reduce headcount. That's why I want to help you, and that's why IT outsourcing is a great option for you. Imagine if you talk like this to your client, they will perceive you as an expert, and they will perceive you as a person with very big experience, and that's how you build the trust.
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Next, what is important for those companies is process of cooperation. What's that mean? IT companies from Europe, they're very familiar with software development. They understand what are the challenges. They understand that the project changing very often. So they will ask you how you onboard people. What happened if the one person leave? How you make sure that the developer follow the development standards. What development standards? They want to know all of those informations. So you have to be able to discuss about this need and show how you're solving this problem. productivity matrix. As you know, probably to show productivity of developer is extremely difficult. It's very, very difficult because there is no very solid metric on measuring productivity. However, if you talk with your client that in your company, you using the story point and you measure this in that and that way, and you can show the graph to the client, this is something what they want to know, because they want to know, if I hire you, how productive you will be, what value will you deliver. So this is the information that would be very nice also to provide. They also looking for white label model. Guys, are you familiar what is white label?
No, sorry.
Yes.
So just quickly and simply, white label model, it's the model when you outsource engineer from your organization to another software company, let's say in Europe, and this engineer will get your client email, and they will be kind of pretending they are employee of that company from the Europe. We call it white label. You kind of hiding that the engineer is outsourced to Vietnam. Does it make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so very, very often the European companies, especially those type of companies, they will ask to provide white label models that you will be pretending that the engineer you provide them, it's employee of that company. I saw somebody raise their hand.
Sorry, it was a mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Okay, let's move on further. Corporate. Guys, here, for example, I give revenue 80 million euro and up. 80 million is kind of minimum. You know, you need to understand that because there is so much problem with the labor in Western countries, the businesses in the Europe and US, they do everything what they can to optimize resources as much as possible. And they are actually racing who will have less people in the company and who will have a higher revenue. Okay, so for the European businesses, like 80 million for corporation, this is pretty small. So you're probably expecting much more than that. Yes, but just for sake of this presentation, I give this as a benchmark. Let's say 80 million euro and up. That's how I will define here corporate. What is the most important for them? They will care about the stable vendor. And if I can translate this to one word, they care about risk management for corporate. This is one of the most important thing. They not really focusing on the cost. They not focusing on delivering quickly right now. They have a time, but they really focusing on the risk management. And if you can prove that you are a stable vendor, you are on the market for 10 years, you work with other corporate, that will reduce risk from their side. Because usually when it's RFP, request for proposal, and they onboarding new vendors, they usually sign a contract for 3 years, and every 3 years it's shift of the new vendors. Yes, but when they sign with you, they kind of stuck with you. So they want to make sure that you are stable and you will stay at least for 3 years with them. They looking for reduce the cost of operation, especially if this is public company. So then reducing cost is something really nice to show to shareholders. They need engagement process. So when you work with the corporate, it's not like you have a cold email and then you have a meeting and then you start working after 3 months. When you work with corporate, you need to go through the financial checks. You need to show that you worked before with corporate and you have a process of onboarding. You know how to create, how to respond to RFP, request for the proposal. They really want to know that because you most likely will be working with procurement department. And those people, they have a very specific process that you need to go through this process with them. And if you're not familiar with the process, if you make it problematic, they will not choose you for sure. They like experience in domain. So let's say you're working with automotive. Let's say you're working with pharma. Let's say you're working with insurance. They will expect that you have an experience in the domain. Other than that, it will be very difficult for you guys. They will be focusing on the financial reporting, and they will conduct due diligence, as I mentioned before. That will just basically remove the risk from their side. And then they looking for optimizing operation. You know, when you are a corporate, you have a many departments, you have a many subsidiaries. The operation are extremely complicated. You need to manage multiple people. So what they do often, they have some position in a company. It's called a vendor manager or procurement department. And those people are responsible to finding the vendor and working with the vendors and managing the vendors. So this is actually a good tip for you guys. If your company is bigger size and you already have experience working with corporation and you want to approach a European or Western corporation, please do not aim for CEO, CTO, because they will never answer to you. There is no point. There are specific roles in the organization, like vendor manager, partner manager, who are responsible for working with vendor, and this could be your target. Okay, so this gives you much more chance to get some initial contact and collaboration. Next are the partners, incubator, accelerator, innovation labs, and I would add here one more organization. Organizations similar to GITS. There are also very good partners for collaboration in Europe. And what they expect to have a trusted partner. Why? Because if they obviously you don't do project for those type of the people, but you do the project to the people that they introduce you to. So what they want to know when they introduce you to somebody, that you will deliver, that they can trust you, that you will do what you promise, because this is their reputation. They want good business model. What's that mean? Basically, when they introduce you to somebody, what is in this for them? Will you give them commission? Will you, I don't know, give them some benefit? How does it work? What is the business model? So you need to introduce to them. They want consultants. And what's that mean? Especially incubator, innovation labs, accelerator, they need support not only from the development that you do what they say, but they need the support for their clients who has just idea. And you need to help them to create the proof of the concept. You need to brainstorm with them on idea. If you're a good consultant with experience in the domain, in the industry, that's something what could be key factor to help you win the partner. They won't act quickly. So whenever they introduce you to someone, they want you to be able to go right away, discuss with the client about their needs, help win the deal, so on and so forth. Okay, guys, that's finish of this slide. And what probably you notice that there is no message here, yes? And this is done deliberately. I really don't want you just take the message, copy and paste, because this is not the purpose of this presentation. Again, what is my goal here? It's I want to give you the way of the thinking, the mindset, how you should think about this, because what you see this is not every problem, every need of the client they might have. There might be 1,000 different ones. But if you understand that you need to figure out what type of the client it is, where they are in their product journey, and what problem or needs they have, and you need to approach with this in the mind, that you need to focus on their needs. This is what I want you to keep in the mind. So the message, you can fit in here any type of the message for any type of the need that your potential client might have. Any question, or I can move on?
just my experience on the corporate side. One point I think very important for the corporate, what you already mentioned is the risk management and the perspective of data protection. So we have to consider Vietnamese country is a third party or it's outside the European Union. So it's we have to convince them to convince the corporate, especially the corporate client, to trust us that we don't touch their data, we don't use the data for something else, and that is one of the point I think. One of the most difficult points when we work with the European clients, especially German clients, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, in Europe we have a GDPR and other data protection. Now MiCA coming in also, so it's a little bit complicated. Chi, did you find some way to show them that okay, you can trust me? Do you have any give us some secret?
No, I didn't, because until now I have always worked with my clients in Germany, and my employee or my colleagues are staying in Germany, so it would not be a big problem. I try sometimes to get to them, to the big company, to the corporate, who already my clients are, and they say no, we don't want to, to make this risk, because they don't know what the problem they would face to if something happened. So it's one of the very important points. What you mentioned is the risk management for the big company.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
for the SME is quite easier, because they don't have this mind. Okay, they want to reduce costs. This is the priority.
Thank you so much for sharing. Lynn, any question?
Yes, regarding the data protection, I have a question that is there any certifications or any, public certifications that Vietnamese companies can obtain to increase our data protection reliability in the European market?
Chi, do you want to answer this question?
Sorry, I don't know. Is there any certification to make?
Yes. For example, like we
Maybe.
do have some compliance and trust like ISO or something like
Yeah.
that, but I'm not sure if it's applicable to the European market.
Yeah, it is. If you apply for ISO and it has security policies there, it's helping a lot. It does help a lot, especially when you want to work with corporate. Second important thing, what is really good to know, it's about GDPR, because everybody talk about this, but nobody know how to handle it. Like, do I need to some certificate? What I need to be to be GDPR compliant? And the truth is, guys, that the GDPR compliance is coming from your client. So basically, each client, if they are compliant to GDPR, they should have a process of data handling, and they need to give you this process, and you need to apply this in your company. So basically, whenever the client asks you about the GDPR and if you are compliant, you need to tell them that, yes, we are compliant. We need the process from your side. You need to tell us how you want us handle your data, and we will follow up.
Okay, got that. Thank you so much, Adam and Chi, for your good insights here.
You're welcome. So guys, I will move on. I will speed up a little bit because we're already behind. So here, every deal, every new business, it's usually start from prospecting, and either it's a prospecting from your personal network and talking to your client, talking to your friends, or either it is prospecting, cold prospecting, or is it either this is marketing activities. There is one very, very, very important thing. Whenever you do prospecting, you need to think about, first of all, your strategy, how you do it. Second, your strategy, and third, your strategy. Strategy for the prospecting is the most important thing what you can do in advance to make sure that you can increase your result and make it the right way. Let me move on and explain you what I mean. So we have multiple different channels. I have something what I call a channel map. And on that map, I list out around 25 channels. So there is a lot of different ways we can approach the client, yes? But for the needs of this presentation, I list out here 4 channels, okay? And I list out here tools also, and the way we can interact with the client through each channel. So now we will discuss a little bit more about the channels, about the strategy, and how we can use them, okay? So for the LinkedIn, guys, you can use bots. Bots that are just automatic software that you can use. It will do the prospecting for you automatically. And the bots are very good for the automatic campaigns, invitation to event. So for instance, the event like today, I can use the bot to invite multiple people. I will put the database of the people, and this bot will do it for me. Automatic messaging, automatic content, automatic likes. So whenever you use LinkedIn, which I recommend you to use, because LinkedIn is very potential channel for the Western countries, not only for the Europe, but for the Western countries, including US. Actually, for US, it's one of the best channel you can use. Whenever you use bot, you can leverage yourself whenever you use in LinkedIn, you can leverage yourself by using the automatic software to help you like multiply yourself and act much faster and much better. And then in other hand, you have a sales navigator or just LinkedIn search. And here, when you talk with the client, you need to actually think more about personalized approach, direct message, building relationship, competitor search. Let me explain you this one. I will give you one tip, and usually I share this with my clients, and this is a really, really powerful tool. I'm not sure. Do you know that LinkedIn allowed you to see who your competitor working with? Have you know that? LinkedIn also allowed you to see who your competitor is searching or prospecting. So basically, if you look into the LinkedIn, there is a special way to open additional search filters. And imagine that you make a connection. Let's say your competitor is, for sake of this presentation, I will say FPT. And you contact with the one sales manager from FPT or sales representative, and you add him to your connection. If he accepts your invitation, then you can go to his network and ask LinkedIn to show you who is he connecting with from the specific market. So let's say this is sales representative who is specializing working in Germany, and then you make connection with him, and then you can see his network, and you can choose from there who is his client, and then actually you can prospect those people. So LinkedIn is very powerful tool. Not many people know about that. I will give you one more tip. You should actually block in the setting of LinkedIn. If you go very deep, you can block this possibility. So you can switch off setting that if you connect with somebody, they can see your connection. So I highly recommend you to do this if you are a sales representative, because maybe other people, they can see who you're prospecting and who you're working with. Yep.
So Adam, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but wouldn't that be better, like, let's say, if I have a client and they can see who I am connected, and that's like someone very popular, or they can see that I connect with many like big company, for example, then would that be better? I mean, in terms of like they will perceive like the company as more popular, brands will be better. How about that?
I would come back to what I said to you guys before. In Europe, you don't build a relationship based on who you know or how good person you are. You build the relationship, build the trust. You build the trust based on your skills and your expertise. So they don't really care who you connect with. They care what you know.
Right. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Right. Thanks for the classification.
No problem. So let me move on. For the email, it's another great channel you should use for the European market. Some markets there are much more open for the email interaction, such as UK and Nordic countries. They're pretty okay with the email interaction. For the LinkedIn, I would say Poland really open for LinkedIn. I'm not sure about Germany. Which channel would be good to approach the market? I know this could create some competition for you, but if you would be so nice.
No. I'm sharing. I also want to share my experience with all guys here. It's also my mission. So I born
Thank you.
in Vietnam. I grew up in Vietnam, and my wife is also Vietnamese. So
Appreciate.
LinkedIn, I think, is a very good channel for the people, and even that you have some more insights, information about the client, the potential clients. Email is not easy. That at least my feeling. I cannot. I'm not sure, but at least in the companies I work for, as well myself, I don't prefer so much the email contact. So if some guys contact me over email and say, yeah, I have a lot of ideas, I have a lot of potential, that and this, it's not always the good way for me at this.
Thank you so much for sharing. So as you see, guys, we have a tendency to say Europe, but not every country is the same. In Europe, each country would be different, and you can know now Germany would be much more potential for the LinkedIn approach, more personalized approach, where Nordic countries, UK, they're very okay with the email, no problem at all. And I would like to come back here to one more thing. So you see that I list out for you strategy 5-touch. What is this? This is some statistic I learned a few years ago, and it stuck in my head and actually helped me to increase performance of my client by multiple fold. And what it is, there is the statistic that 60% of the client, they will reply to you after 4 messages. But 80% of the salespeople, they only send 2 messages to the client. So imagine, only if you know this information, how much competitive advantage you have already against the other salespeople. If you go more than 4 messages, you are in the 20% of the top, and you have a much more chance to win the deal. But this must be very smart messaging. You cannot say send 5 emails and say, oh, do you have a time for meeting me? That doesn't make sense. You need to go back to the needs. You need to come back, put yourself in the shoes of the client and talk the way that this is relevant to them. Because European, especially German people, very pragmatic. What's that mean? Pragmatic, it means we don't do anything what would waste our time. We only do the things that are worth of our time and can bring the value. So if you are sending some messages that just wasting their time, it's really something that they don't feel good with. So let's move on to email. We have an automatic approach where we use software again to send mass prospecting. We can have a mass number of email and send. And guys, what I can say to you, I don't recommend this approach. I mean mass prospecting. highly recommend you be very specific who you're working with, what is your type of the client, what is the subtype, and what need or problem you're solving, and then only approach those people. When you're doing mass prospecting, you're doing, first of all, you're spamming, and you have a very low chance to find a deal. But the second thing, what many people not think of, you actually destroy brand of your company. Because in the eyes of the client, they only kind of connect you with some spamming, some not relevant message, and they will know, oh, this and that company, they don't know what they're doing. So please avoid mass prospecting. Sorry, just one question here, guys, because it seems that we will stay a little bit longer. Is that okay for you? Okay, so sorry, it took a little bit longer than I expect. I hope you enjoy. So I maybe 15 minutes and we will be done. Okay. Next thing, what I highly recommend is to check market. Use marketing automation, email automation system to check market. What does that mean? When we prepare a sales campaign, we have an assumption. We assume this is my ideal client profile. This is the problem what I solve. This is the message I send to him. And you can use automation tool to check if your assumptions are correct. Send 50 email and see the results. And it's much better when the automatic tool do it for you, because you might need to check 5 or 6 assumptions. You might check 6 different needs, meaning your message, content of your message might contain need number 1, need number 2, need number 3, different type of the need. And you checking the market, and then you will figure out, oh, this problem, people reacting very good, I getting a lot of response, and then you only focus on this problem. So I highly recommend to use automation tool for market check. But again, don't send 10,000 email, send 50, 100 max, and then look on the numbers. Test your different type of message. Again, testing. This is super important in the prospecting and lead generation. Webinar invitation, also great. Automation tool is a great thing to invite the people, say to them that you want to deliver them value, and explain what you will be teaching about. Nobody will be offended if you say to them, hey, listen, I invest in my time to help you to explain you about ABC. People will not be offended for this kind of good initiative. Verification of concept and strategy. Again, automation tool, they're much better than do it by hand. And account-based marketing. Are you guys familiar with account-based marketing? So account-based marketing, it's I call it Dream 100 strategy. And Dream 100 is not the strategy I created. It's created by Chet Holmes, if I remember very well. But it's about choosing 100 the top clients, and then you're spending a lot of effort to engage with them by multiple email, by sending them gifts, by doing something unique that will bring their attention. Account-based marketing is becoming much and much more popular, and it's becoming much better tool to win a bigger SMEs deals or corporations. And then we have on the other hand, we have a manual and personalized email. So it's for specific message for a specific client, a specific mailing list. So like, let's say, guys, I introduce you the way that you can check where is funding from European Union going, which country and which industry. And then you collect your list. And then you can do it. This is the list that I recommend to do it manual and personalized, because the chance of winning this deal is much higher. So it's very good to put some effort into it. It's worth invested time. Specific problem for specific client, specific solution. roadmap, again, specific roadmap for this client. Listen, we solve this issue by doing this like that, like that, like that, like that. So guys, what is very important and one of the top tip, what I would like you to implement, please start trying to avoid messaging such as, hi, I am from this and that company. We are on market 10 years. We are cheaper. We have a much better quality and we work with Panasonic, Hyundai. Please start avoid this. What I want you to start doing is start focus on the problem, on the need, and then solution. Yeah, what kind of solution you're providing, and create message this way. And in the another email, tell about your unique selling point, how you are doing solving the problem differently than other companies. And please don't say that you are cheaper, because competing by cheaper, it's never ending story. Always there will be somebody cheaper than you, seriously. So this is not the greatest strategy. However, being relevant, solving the problem, showing how you solve it, and showing how you are different than other people who can solve it, this is something what is really converting much better. And you might saw before I post somewhere that this workshop, this presentation can help you increase performance by 4. Why I say this number, especially exactly by 4? We did the research in our organization, because I work with the clients in Vietnam, multiple clients, and I can test whenever they send the message before we came in and help them, and the message sound like we are cheaper, we are better, and then we bring them new message where we talk about problem and how we solve, and on average we got 4 times better result to compare to the previous message. Sometimes some companies we got 7 or 8 times better result in the response in the client acquisition process. So it's really, really worth it to put a little bit attention to understand your client, understand the buyer journey, understand the ICP, and understand their problems. So marketing, we have an inbound. Inbound marketing is mean that you attracting the client, that they come to you and they asking for your services. Okay. So inbound, you can provide education. They will perceive you as an expert, and they will contact with you, and they will say, oh, Mr. Adam, you are expert in this and that industry. Can you help me with this? So for instance, you organize a workshop, you talk about some specific problem and how to solve it, and then the people will perceive you as an expert. That's what we can call inbound marketing. Lead magnets, again, people will give you their email in exchange of some value, and then this email you can consider as a warm lead, and you can approach them and convert this lead to the client. Webinars, exactly as I explained. Expert positioning. Remember, this is super important. Start investing in your brand. Start positioning yourself as an expert. As one of my best mentor in the sales area, Alex Hormozy, say, when is the best time to start branding, self-branding? He said, when you are around 8 years old or now. If you haven't started to do branding, start it now. Start producing content. Position yourself as an expert. Have an opinion about something. Highly recommend it. It's bringing a lot of value. SEO, it's another way to have an inbound lead. Podcasts and YouTube channel, you can also consider about educational. And then outbound, cold calls, SEM, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, and mass email. And here we have a Dream 100 strategy that I mentioned already before. And then network and trade show. This is actually my favorite one. What is your tool? Your tool is your soft skills, your creativity, and your experience. Because when you go to the trade show, you have a direct experience, direct contact with your potential client, and how they will remember you, how you manage to create this contact. It will really, really make the conversions from the contact to the client can make significant difference. So let me explain you what I mean. So networking, you can connect with business organization and association. And let me give you my case study. In 2020, I was running the project for a very big corporation in Vietnam. And what we did, I contact with the biggest IT association in Poland. It's called SODA, S-O-D-A. And I said to them that I offer them to create market report about Vietnam. And I will create for them newsletter and attach to this file with the market report because I want to just educate them about the market in Vietnam. And on the very bottom of that, I put just my contact information. Guys, I got so many deals from that because the whole people in that network we sent this email to, there were C-level owners of IT companies. I remember at that time I did the biggest number of the meeting in my life. I did 16 meetings in 1 week. It was just really, really busy and really great strategy for us. IT organizations, security and investment companies. If you have a friend in security and investment company, they have a wealthy businesses as a client, so they can give you idea who is investing, who has extra money, who could be potential client for you. This is also nice idea, very creative. And this is the one what I want to share with you, because here I see a lot of challenges in Vietnam. So strategy for the networking and trade show. I see that the people in Vietnam, they waste a lot of money. How? They fly to location where is the trade show, let's say Singapore, Korea, Australia, and they invest in the booth $6,000, $10,000. They take in 2 sales representatives, and those guys, they walking around and giving the leaflets and they invite into the booth, which is completely huge waste of the money, because you are completely the same as other 50 companies in that trade show. So why client will choose you? It's just game of the luck. Don't depend on the luck. Be creative. That's why I say creativity, it's your tool. What you can do team booth. For instance, you come from Vietnam, so you can have a tropical clothes. You can hire models. I will give you like real case study what we did. I used to consult the pharmaceutical companies, and we hire models and the beautiful women to join with us to the trade show. And in the pharmaceutical event, you have most of the people, they're men there, yes? So right away, when you have a beautiful woman, they bring in a lot of attention. And those women were walking around the whole trade show and inviting to our booth for free massage. We had a masseur in our booth. So then when they exchange the leaflet, they ask for the name card, and if they see CEO, they bring them to our booth for free massage. And when they were sitting and getting massage, the sales representatives sit in front of them and start talking to them. So either they want or not, they couldn't go anywhere because they were getting massage. And that was the great time for our sales rep to, get a lot of information from them. And then when we see potential, we ran the nightclub, and we invite them to nightclub to come for the party after the trade show. And then we offer them free drink, and we create really strong relationship with those people. And this is creative approach. Use your creativity, because otherwise you can waste a lot of money. So guys, email example. So I want to show you the example how we can use the specific problem to approach the client. So you can say, while researching the German market, I came across, and here in automation, you can put the name of the company, and notice your impressive growth in the e-commerce space. A common challenge for business in this industry, however, is navigating digitalization, optimization, operation, and implementing AI solution, often due high cost and shortage of specialized resources. So at the very beginning, I have a hook sentence, I specific to the market and specific to the company, specific problem in specific industry. And then below, I have a solution. For the last 2 years, I have successfully supported 23 e-commerce and retail businesses using no-code and low-code solution. This approach significantly reduced both time and the cost of product delivery. My company successfully assisted clients in resolving issues such as slow loading websites, poor mobile performance, ultimately improving the customer and shopping experience. Okay, so when I say to you, find the problem and give the solution, this is what I mean. Don't say we are a great company, we are cheap, we are quality amazing. Okay, and this is not just one type of the problem. This problem could be different, many different. So you need to test what is work for you. And link the message, for instance, this is invitation. This invitation convert for us 72%, if I remember well. That means 70, if I send it to 100 people, 72 of them accept this invitation. So I see that we are, that means I created something in common already between me and audience. We are passionate about technology and business with the different that I operate in Asian market. I hope there will be a chance to talk, find out more about cooperation opportunities. P.S. If you are ever come to Vietnam, let's catch up for coffee. So very nice, polite ending that it show me as a person, not as a cheap salesman. So this is the example for you how the copywriting should look like. And those copies, they're converting pretty well. We test them already. Here I have a few key elements that you should remember. This one is one of very important. Remove risk. If you approach in Europe and Western countries, they don't trust Vietnam much. So you need to be able to remove risk. Test. As I mentioned, you need to test and adjust. Be creative. Be persistent. Pay attention to the detail, because Western people, they keep judging you based on the details. I saw the real case that the client decided to stop collaboration because in the contract there was many misspelling, and he said, "If you cannot you cannot spell contract, how you can develop the code for me?" So you need to be very careful with Western people.
Absolutely agree with you about that.
And be empathic. If somebody, I often get questioned, Adam, what is the most important skills of the salespeople? And I say empathy. Empathy is the most important, and I call it skills. This is not characteristic of a person, because empathy you can train and you can be better. So highly recommend to get interest in that and improve this. I have some case studies here, guys, to show you how the other company they doing this and how the whole process look like of global expansion. So for instance, we have a case study of GMO run system. What I want you to just pay attention is that whenever you expanding globally, it's not about sit down and send 10,000 emails and see how it's work. This is not global expansion. This is not approaching the market. Approaching the market is analyze your company, analyze your strength, analyze your weaknesses, analyze your service offering, then analyze market and see what of your strength, what of your service offering can match to the market. Okay, this is how we're supposed to do it. Then create the strategy, create the master plan and sales process, how you will do it, what's the channel you will choose, what's the strategy, will you fly there, will you do direct campaign, or you going to do it online? You need to know everything in advance. Then you're creating campaign, creating your unique selling proposition, and then you start in working. Okay, not again. Why I am so many times repeating to not sending cold email and spamming, because except you hurting your company, you also hurting the general overview of Vietnam, because that's how they will perceive us, and I really don't want it. I want that people perceive us as a amazing country. We have a super intelligent people here. We have a very hardworking people, and this is what I want be Vietnam perceiving us. Guys, here is the QR code. There is the video, actually. You can see it also on my LinkedIn profile. Case study and what the people say about us. And yeah, we got there. We have a feedback session. We have a Q&A. Please ask me whatever you like. If I can ask you for a favor, go to my channel. I just set up new channel, YouTube channel, when I do podcasting. This is new. It's just starting. We don't have a video yet. In the next month, we will start have a video. But the content is strong. I mean, content is valuable, and that's what is scanned. So if whenever you get a chance, go listen this, or join our Facebook page, where I trying to build a community also of the entrepreneur, business owners, salespeople who want to expand globally. Thank you, and I'm open for your question. And feel free to contact me on the LinkedIn as well.